From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Anglers Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling the same. So pretty much we have ourselves a pretty good show today. We got some topics to talk about since we kind of have just a hoops day going on, everything like that. We've been talking about the NFL a lot. So, pretty much we have this to go over now. So I really am excited about what we have moving forward this week as well, too. We have a lot of bowl games today as well. We have actually five bowl games to be exact. And from what I'm seeing here, it looks like Houston is trying to hold on, but I got to double check the score because last time I checked, it was 10-6, and then I started getting the show prepped up. So I really do like what Houston was doing earlier. Hopefully they can hold on and win that game. And as usual, this team, they're down 13-10. Auburn working their way back, all the way back, had in themselves a 10-point third quarter. So that game is 13-10 right now, 7:47 left to go in the fourth quarter. From what I'm seeing on my update, it might be a little bit there might be more time taken off this game since that point because I am looking at the Yahoo Live feed. So here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into our first topic, and let's talk some college basketball. We got Baylor, and Baylor is a team that is absolutely just incredible this season. I think they could possibly be the first team since the Florida Gators back in 2006 and 2007 to actually go off and win the national championship 2 years in a row. I know it sounds crazy today, but I think that this is quite a possibility, to be very honest with you. I really, truly feel that Baylor can go ahead and run the table. They do have a game today against Northwestern State, but that's a usual game that they play every year, against this school from Louisiana and everything like that. So these are their get-over games, their tune-up games. But from what I can see here, the only game that they really had any type of threat in was actually the Oregon game at Oregon, and that's not surprising because Oregon, that's a really good game. But destroying Michigan State, they kind of had a tough one against VCU. They won that one by 8. But the 22-point win over number 6 Villanova is the one that stands out to me because they only allowed 36 points that day. Now, I know this means absolutely nothing in a rematch, but still, I think that they sent a loud and clear message very early that, hey, we are here. And you know what? It's that time. We're here and we're here to stay. We are Baylor, and you know what? You're going to have to respect us, and they still hadn't went to number 1 in the nation yet after they beat Villanova, which was very surprising. And I really do feel like they did injustice to Baylor, being a team that's won the national championship, brought back half the squad as well, too, that won the national championship. Maybe they might not have been the star players, but still, at the end of the day, they're still here. They still have their coach. So they have to have some more respect than what they had coming into this thing. So I really truly feel that Baylor can go ahead and possibly go undefeated, but it's going to be a tough task because they already have them lined up against the top 10 team on the road Saturday, the first day of the year versus Iowa State. So that game is going to be huge over in Ames. So I really do expect a lot of folks to be into that. And I'll be talking about that game on Friday a little bit more in depthly as we get into our top games of the weekend. in college basketball with the Power 5 schools and everything like that. So Baylor, can they run the table? That's the question right now. But they run into their first real big test in conference play in the first game against Iowa State. And I know that a lot of people are going to be really, really on Iowa State in that spot because Baylor always has a tough time over in Ames. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out, and we'll move from there. All right. So we move on, and let's go ahead and talk about the team that's running the association right now. That's going to be the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors right now are 27-6. This team is absolutely incredible. They probably have had their worst month this season. They've lost 3 games. Unbelievable. But they won 9 of them. So, this team has been playing really good basketball. They've been covering still pretty good as well, too. But there was one point in time where they covered, I think, about 15 straight. So the Warriors are really, really the team to beat right now in the NBA, without a doubt. Steph Curry is playing on a level where the great ones, that's what they do. Say you're a champion for a while, you taste the success, you get really good, and then you get knocked all the way off the top of the mountain and literally fell on your face, broke your neck, all that good stuff. But still, you rehabbed yourself, came back, and now everybody has to go ahead and respect the Warriors because at first the excuse was they had KD. Oh, the excuse was that they had a super team in place because they had all these old NBA veterans or guys that used to be real high-end players in other places, maybe tailed off a little bit in their careers and wound up being on the Warriors, but still being high-end players. And then you had guys that teams absolutely threw away and took for granted as well too. So this Warriors bunch is a really good story this season, and this is coming from somebody who's never been that impressed with what the Warriors have done because I've always felt like they've been cheapskates with the way that they sit at the 3-point line. But this season, it's not all about shooting threes. I think that's what everybody gets excited about. But this team plays very good defense. They know when to pass the ball. They have a lot of really good chemistry, and you know what? They're very confident. And there's no team in the NBA that's as confident as the Warriors. That's why they win night in and night out because they have guys who will step it up on their own. They don't need to have permission to step it up in a game. You know what I mean? Great example, Jordan Poole. Yes, they lost the game to the Suns, the first game of the year versus Suns, but Jordan Poole scored 16 points within 90 seconds and did a 16-0 run on his own. So that's what I'm saying. They don't have to just look to Curry to be the end-all, be-all here. They have other guys that can step it up and play huge. When you look at it now, these trades that they made for these players, they have wound up being great trades. Moving D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins, that was right on time. Andrew Wiggins needed the Warriors needed him. All right. Then you have Kuminga, who's a very good rookie as well, too. He's a hell of a player. And then you still have James Wiseman still sitting over there rehabbing, who should be ready to go by February. And then you got Clay coming back in January. It is a very, very scary situation when you think about what can be with the Warriors moving forward going into the playoffs. Right now, to me, they're a 60-win team for sure. You know what I mean? And I think that they're a team that really does have stake in getting into the finals this year. I think when it comes all down to it, the West is not as good as it's been over the last few years, and really it's being ran by 2 teams right now, the Warriors and the Suns. The other teams that are real good in the conference, we all know that they're front runners. So we're not taking them as seriously until they win those big games. But if there's one team that excites you in the West, it's going to be the Grizzlies because they got the most exciting player in basketball, Ja Morant. But all in all, when you look to the game and seeing how everything is when it's flowing and you see a machine, it's the Warriors at the end of the day. The Eastern Conference is really toss them up, but with Brooklyn getting healthier by the game, and now knowing that they can have Kyrie at least on the road, their team, they're going to ascend and they're going to actually take off now, in a sense, in the Eastern Conference. And because they've literally dominated all the teams that they went against in the Eastern Conference this year. Their troubles come against Western Conference teams this year. So I truly do love the fact that we have this type of NBA going right now where we've kind of came back to our senses a little bit. And the Warriors have showed us that it's not about having all these guys who've done something in their careers and then are having a whole bunch of young players to build something so you can get assets. It's about having the best of both worlds. And that's why the Warriors are the best team in the NBA. All right, let's move on. Let's go ahead and talk about another team that's in the Bay Area as well too, and they've had a very significant situation happen. Jimmy G has suffered a significant thumb injury, and now Trey Lance help a playoff run? I would say this at this point in time, no, not at all. Trey Lance is a good player. Good player. He's not great yet. And they have a very simplistic scheme for him. So when you have a very simplistic scheme for a player, that tells me that they're not ready to go to the next level of, say, being in a big time moment in a playoff game. Trey Lance is the future of the San Francisco 49ers. And I know a lot of people get excited because they were big Kaepernick fans and they know exactly what Kaepernick brought to the table. But I would say this, you're actually in even better hands with a guy like Trey Lance, who was able to sit and be behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback, even though he didn't win one with the 49ers. He did win a few with the Pats. And also he led this team to a Super Bowl as well too. So Trey Lance has never truly taken Jimmy G's spot. I know that fans have given him Jimmy G's spot, but the fans don't make the decisions on who's going to be on the field. They just have to sit and watch. And I think at the end of the day, if Trey Lance was going to be the starter of the 49ers, he would have been the starter the first game of the season. Now, them putting in packages and having him be a different type of a read or something of that nature going into the game, yeah, that's awesome. But in the one game he did start this season, he was absolutely atrocious. Yes, the Niners only lost the game by 7 points, but still, it felt like they lost the game by 30 because Arizona dominated them, and then they got a late junk touchdown, and it looked like they were putting something into the game, but they weren't doing anything with that game. Okay, and Trey Lance had a great had a I wouldn't even say a decent day. It was a very it was a day that usually happens when you're a rookie and you're not ready. You know what I mean? So I know San Francisco 49er fans get really excited about what can be, but just be steadfast in this situation. You were blessed to get a guy like Jimmy G to be your quarterback and get the success for your team right away. Now the success is in place after years of building this team through the draft and selecting the ultimate game manager. Now I would say this, that it is time to hand over the keys, but not at this point right now. You know what I mean? You do that next season. You give this guy, you make him your guy next year. Now they have to force themselves to put him in here, but this is his time to prove that he is good enough to be the starter of the San Francisco 49ers for the long-term future. So it's going to be really fun to see what happens in these next 2 weeks. The 49ers still are not locked in on making the playoffs, but they're getting very close. That's the whole thing. But my whole joke for this situation is now how can they beat the Rams? Because they've been so good against the Rams, but you have to have the right quarterback in place. And I think Jimmy G knows exactly how to go about beating the Rams. And I think that before that, Kaepernick had a good tendency on how to beat the Rams as well too. And the other guys that, other than those two, they've had some real issues with the Rams. So I'm saying this, I would say that we need to go ahead and we need to just really just be patient with what the situation is going to be. I don't think San Francisco 49er fans had it in their head that they were going to be a Super Bowl champion this year, even though it was quite a possibility very early in the season when you saw what they had, but then things fell apart, then things got back together. So I think that this is a good year for you to be motivated to have a great year next year. in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes with the 49ers moving forward, see if they can still make some noise, see if they can still even make the playoffs. So there it is. There it is. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. And we're also going to talk about the NBA Tuesday night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And we'll be right back.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Chapter, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be State of the Lakers, and pretty much with the State of the Lakers, we have ourselves a very, very good, way of going about things and things of that nature. So the Lakers, you know what? There's not much to say anymore. The Lakers have lost their last, 5 in a row, I think. Yeah, it's been bad. It's been really bad. You know what I mean? This week they go off and, they had 3 home games this week. They lose all 3 home games this week. And they were blown out in 2 of the games, and then they came back around and showed some life at the end, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day to beat the Nets. But you could see that the spirit is still there. But all in all, though, I would just say this: just take it a game at a time. I think that everybody's spreading blame everywhere, and I just think all in all, this is just a failed experiment. It is what it is at the end of the day. I wanted to see Carmelo Anthony win a championship in LA with LeBron James, but you know what? That should have happened 5-10 years ago when Kobe was still around. You know what I mean? They should have figured out a way to make a super team in LA with Kobe, but they didn't. So, at the end of the day, I know a lot of people wanted to have so much more out of this team, but it's just not going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? You got Carmelo. Great. You got Anthony Davis hurt. You got LeBron out here doing every job, GM, coach, and player. You got Russell Westbrook, who's damn near still getting a triple-double a game, but he's getting all the blame for why the Lakers lose games night in and night out. But he ain't the one that we traded the puppies for. So, why does he have to get blamed for any of that? And then, guys like Dwight Howard that people still kind of, pacify that he's still a really good player. And we know he only shows up in spots. Let's be honest about that. Dwight Howard only shows up when he knows he's been lagging, you know what I mean? And pretty much to me, he lags 4 out of every 5 games. I think we get maybe 3-4 good real games out of him out the month. And I know a lot of people will say, nah, Pop, he's playing really good. No, he doesn't. Okay, guys missing 2-foot shots. I don't care. You know what I mean? You're too tall and you're wide open. How are you missing a layup? You know what I mean? You're 6'10". You literally can just put your hand up and put the ball in the rim, but you can't do that either. So, I could sit here all day just dishing out the negatives on the Lakers, but I want to stay positive about the Lakers because I know that they just got to get over they got to get over this learning curve. And as I said before, we got to judge them on how they play after Christmas. Now, I know that the Lakers have had a break for the last 3 days. You know, the Lakers have got time off, period, point blank. They've been off, all right? So there ain't no worries about what is this and what's that. They're fresh. They're ready to roll tonight. They're going against the Rockets, a team that they've already beat twice at home already this year. So pretty much I would say this is what it's going to be. Let's just go ahead and say this tonight. The Lakers should bounce back tonight. And then if everything goes all good and well, everybody breathes a little bit, they'll be back at 500, and then they'll start, the process, because the Lakers schedule, honestly, it does get a little bit easier from this point on. The Lakers were going against some pretty good teams, and teams that were very hot. Like, everybody's like, how can you lose to the Spurs by 28? The Spurs have had a really good month this month. They've beaten the Warriors this month. They've beaten the Jazz this month. They've beaten the Lakers. And these were all on the road. These weren't at home in the friendly confines of San Antonio. They had to go out there and go win these games. But the Lakers 16-18 right now. Kind of sad, though, when you think about it, right? The Lakers worked themselves all the way to they worked themselves into a good position at one point. You know what I mean? They were 8-9, wound up going 8-4 from that point, 8-13. And then since that point on, since I gave out that stat, the Lakers have lost the last 5 in a row. So, they come into this game 5.5-point favorites, and they've won their last 5 out of 6 against the Rockets on the road against the spread. So they're in good shape, and it looks like they are getting guys back from COVID as well too. And I would say, the Rockets are hot, but the Rockets kind of cooled off a little bit. They've lost 4 games in a row themselves, and they just lost the other night by 26 points. So actually 24. I'm sorry. They lost by 24 points, then they lost by 12 the night before. They lost by 10 the game prior to that, then they lost by 15. So they got 4 double-digit losses in a row. So they come back, but these were all road games as well too. So they get back to Houston, where they play a little bit better basketball. But the Lakers, I just know that their intensity will be here tonight, man. This team has been embarrassed, and actually they've gotten some practice time in this week as well too. So that's good. All right, so let's move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our NBA plays for today. And up first, we have the Magic and the Bucks. The Magic and the Bucks have facing off for the 3rd time this year. The first 2 games were back-to-back road games for the Magic. This time, they play their first game in Orlando today. So you have a Bucks team that won 117-108 on November 20th in Milwaukee. Then they won the 2 days later, 123-92 on November 22nd. Now the Bucks coming to this month 9-5 straight up. And then when it comes to the spread, they're 6-8. And then when it comes down to the over and under, they've actually went over in 7 out of these 14 games with 1 push. Now the Magic, on the other hand, they're 3-9 straight up in December. They're also 6-6 against the spread. And then when it comes down to the over and under, they've actually split in that category as well. Now the Wizards, the Wizards are 17 and okay, I'm sorry, I'm just jumping the gun, but this one right here to me smells like a cover. They're plus 14 tonight, the Magic, and I think that with the way that the Bucks have played against the spread this month, can you really trust them with a 14-point spread? So this is easy. This is an easy call for me, taking Orlando with the plus 14. So let's go ahead and move on to our next game, which is going to be the Wizards and the Heat. And the Wizards and the Heat, this is a divisional game tonight. You have these 2 teams are vying for the first place spot in the Southeast as well too. You have a Wizards team coming in here 17-16. You have you also have the Heat coming in here 21-13. Now the Heat won the first matchup of the season on the 18th of November. They beat the Wizards 112-97. Now in their second game 2 days later in Washington, the Wizards won a close one, 103-100. To go ahead and get that good win over the Heat that day. So that's there you have it with that. And then you also have the Wizards, who are 5-7 straight up in the month of December with 3 wins in a row. They're 4-8 against the spread in December as well too. They're also have went over an 8 out of their 12 games this month as well too. Now the Heat come in here, played 13 games this month. They're 8-5 straight up in December, 6-7 against the spread, and they're even, but they also have a push as well too. So when it comes down to this game right here, I would say this. I would say the first home game that the Heat had with the Wizards, the game went over. I feel like the trend with the Wizards this month, they're giving up a lot of points and they're scoring a lot of points. So this game will call for it to go over. So I do like the over in this spot. We do have a good number on the over tonight as well too, over 208.5. So I think we're in a good shape tonight. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. We have the 76ers at the Raptors. This one should be another really fun game. This is another divisional game as well too, between two Atlantic Division foes. You have the Raptors coming into this game at home, 14-16. And you have a Sixers team, 17-16. And you know what? The Sixers are another team that hasn't been really good since a real good start to the season. Sixers actually started the year, I think, 8-1. Since that point, they're 9-15. So, they haven't been playing great basketball the last few weeks either. Now, they come into this month 12 games, 6-6 straight up, 5-7 against the spread. They went under in 7 out of those 12 games. Now, the Raptors come in here, probably their best month this season. They're 5-3 straight up this month. They're 6-2 against the spread, and they've went over in 8-5 out of those 8 games. Now, the way that I see this setting up right now is that we can have ourselves we can go ahead and scoreboard watch this one as well too. Now the Raptors are a live dog here because the thing is they got really whooped the other night against the Cavaliers. They lost that game by 45 points. So I don't expect this team to come into their home, into the Scotia Bank Arena, and lay down again. You know what I mean? And especially against a team that they've already beat this season in the 76ers. So if you like a live dog today, they're not my dog of the day, but I think that they are good. They are a good spot for you because they are at home and you're getting plus 200 and better. The Raptors could go ahead and do the damn thing today, but you know what? Let's be realistic here and just go ahead and take the under, and that will be a little bit more of a better spot for us here for this game right here, taking that under 213. I think that the Sixers keep games kind of tame. They don't give up a lot of points. That's one thing you can't say about the Sixers. They are playing good defense. They're just not scoring as much as their fans and their coach would want them to do. Okay, so we have a breaking news right now. The Holiday Bowl has just been canceled. That is the game that was going to be played in San Diego tonight between the UCLA Bruins and the NC State. And the Bruins have COVID-19 issues within the program, so they are out of the Holiday Bowl has been canceled, and you feel bad for the North Carolina State fans that flew in, and you feel bad for North Carolina State because they've been here all week ready to play a football game, and now they're not going to play a football game. So, hey, it is what it is at the end of the day, but that game has just been canceled. But all in all, this is going to be a good game again tonight. I have it under 213 in this spot. So we move forward and we move on to our next game, which is going to be the Nuggets and the Warriors. The Nuggets and the Warriors, you would think that this was going to be a better matchup. It's going to be on we all know it's going to be on TNT tonight. It's going to be their big game and blase. But I think, though, at the end of the day, we have to just really understand that the Warriors are playing on a different level right now, and the Nuggets are very middling. And I say this because when I look at the numbers in December, you have a team in the Nuggets who are 6-6 straight up. in December, and then they're also 5-7 against the spread this month. And then when it comes to the over and under, they've went over in 8 out of their 12 games. Now the Warriors have played 12 games this month. They're 9-3 straight up, 7-5 against the spread, and they've went under in 7 out of their 12 games. So when I look at this one, I really do feel like the Warriors just go ahead, you know, take care of business. They're a 7-point favorite tonight. I think that's a great number, to be honest with you, for especially for a game like this one with the Nuggets team that just keeps getting smoked on the road. So I like what I see here. I think that the Warriors should win this game by double digits or better. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but we move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be the Kings and the Thunder. Now, the Kings and Thunder, two teams going in two different directions at this point. You got the Thunder, who are 12-20, but they're playing some of their best basketball of the year right now. They've won their last 4 out of 5 games, to be exact, and they've covered in their last 6. And the Kings coming here 13-21. They had high hopes to start the month off, and since going 3-0 to start the month, they're 2-7. So when I look at the numbers, you got a Thunder team that's split 6-6 straight up, 8-4 against the spread here in the month of December. Now they've went over in 7 out of those 12 games, and as I just told you guys with the Kings, they're 2-7 since a 3-0 start, so that makes them 5-7 against the spread and straight up in the month of December. And then we also have them going over 7 times in those 12 games. So when I look at this one, I see a Thunder team that's really hot, and I see a Kings team that's really struggling. And I think that the Kings are going to probably look at this one and think they have an easy spot. I would say this: I don't understand why the lines makers have this one a 5.5 favorite to the Kings. I understand that they did do well against OKC in their previous matchups this season, but this time around, with the way that the Thunder have been playing and with the idea that they ain't worried about nothing, especially after getting beat by 73 points earlier on this month, this is a tough, dangerous team to go against at this point. And that's for anybody in the NBA. It doesn't matter what type of talent they have. They just are believing in themselves at this point, and they're playing in a great groove. So it's not hard for me to circle them as my dog of the day. I got a team that's plus 180 who's won their last 4 out of 5. Why would I trust somebody with minus 5.5 who's dropped their last 7 out of 9 games? I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. All right. So, OKC, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And that's what we're doing here, is taking OKC as our dog of the day. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into Talking Tickets. In Talking Tickets, we have ourselves a pretty good group. And as you guys know, I just said that there is going to be no holiday bowl. So the bowl bets that I had in place for that, we won't have to talk about it, okay? Because that game's not going to happen today. All right, so we got the Liberty Bowl. I got Mississippi State minus 10. Also 6.5 Mississippi State first half. Also the over 13.5 first quarter. And Mississippi State over 34.5 team total. Now, this is what I had for this. Is if you guys want to see it, this is what I had for it. Okay. Yeah, it would have been UCLA for the game, as you guys already know. First half, first quarter, over in NC State 30.5, but that game ain't happening. But that would have been our tickets for tonight. And then we have the guaranteed bowl, the bowl that's going to be out in Arizona, the guaranteed rate bowl. I got Minnesota tonight, that one minus 5. Also the over 22 first half. Minnesota money line first quarter minus 165. And then we also have the Minnesota over 12.5 first half team total. I like what I see there. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. But we move forward to hoops. And in hoops tonight, we have ourselves Northwest State to cover tonight against number 1 Baylor. Then we have Notre Dame trying to go in the pit to get themselves a nice win there at minus 175. We have Texas going against a in-state rival of sorts, an Incarnate Word, the Bible school. I got them beaten by 35 or better tonight. And then we got Lehigh playing against Lehigh. Playing against playing against Maryland tonight. I got them with the plus 21.5. I got Fresno with the big upset tonight over in Boise, going against Boise State in that Mountain West conference game. I got the plus 170 on them tonight. And then we have St. Mary's to end it all tonight. They're taking on Yale over at home. So pretty much we have a 55-1 ticket when it comes to college basketball today with the primetime pick 6. Now we go ahead and we end off with the 37-1 super high five today, plus 14 on the Magic, the under 213 on the 76ers and Raptors game today, the over 208.5 with the Wizards and the Heat, the Warriors -7, and the Thunder plus 185. Single what you like, and there it is. There it is. So pretty much with that, that's going to be a wrap on our show today. I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in, and you guys are the absolute best. I'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday show. So pretty much I'm going to see if we can get Mike Abadir in here with us tomorrow. If not, we'll probably bring him back either Thursday or Friday. And also, you know, you guys already know what's up. Pretty much Horsing Around comes back Friday. Yesterday was a very good day in that regard as well too. So you guys make sure to keep on checking that out as well too. So I want to thank you guys very much. And once again, if you guys don't know, the Holiday Bowl has been canceled due to COVID issues within the UCLA program. But that's no surprise because the basketball team's been off the last 3 weeks because of COVID. So there it is. There it is. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. If you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head and not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best.